Imagine a small, quaint town, one that you wouldn't find on a map, hidden between the ripples of green hills. This little town was so peaceful, so serene, that one might forget the outside world existed at all. Let's call our main character Whistle. Why? Well, because Whistle had a unique talent for, you guessed it, whistling. Whistle could whistle tunes that would make the birds stop and listen. Tunes so pleasant they could lull a barking dog into a peaceful snooze. One fine day, Whistle found a peculiar rock while walking by the creek. Not a regular rock, mind you, but a rock that sparkled in the sun. Whistle had an idea. A seemingly pointless yet fun idea. Whistle decided to start a collection of sparkling rocks. This tiny, aimless pursuit turned into a big thing for the townsfolk. They would watch and chuckle as Whistle spent hours by the creek, sifting through stones, looking for that unique sparkle. Days turned into weeks, and Whistle's collection of shiny rocks grew. They were lined up on the windowsill, glittering and twinkling in the sun. The sight was as pointless as it was beautiful. After all, they were just rocks, weren't they? As time passed, the townsfolk grew fond of the pointless pursuit. In fact, they started joining Whistle by the creek, laughing and sharing stories as they too searched for sparkling rocks. Even the grumpy old man who lived on the edge of the town, let's call him Grumbles, started joining in. He would sit by the creek, watching everyone, his frown slowly turning into a small smile. It was funny and it was wonderful. The once quiet creek became a place of joy, filled with the sound of laughter and the soft whispers of Whistle's tunes. Even the birds seemed to sing along, their melodies floating with the breeze. Now, Whistle's pointless idea wasn't so pointless after all. It brought the town together, made them laugh, and gave them a shared experience. In the grand scheme of things, the story is absolutely about nothing. It's about a person who whistles, a sparkly rock, and a small town. But sometimes the most mundane things can bring the greatest joys, can't they? The story of Whistle and the shiny rocks spread far and wide. People from nearby towns started visiting, their curiosity piqued by this strangely comforting activity. The creek was no longer just a creek. It became a place of camaraderie, laughter, and unity, all thanks to Whistle and those pointless, sparkling rocks. Even the distant hills seemed to chime in, echoing back the soft melodies of Whistle's tunes and the collective laughter of the townsfolk. The wind would carry these sounds as if sharing this unique joy with the world. One day, a stranger came to town. Attracted by the tales of unity and friendship, let's call him Scruffy, for his untamed beard and hair that looked like a bird's nest. He joined the townsfolk by the creek, his eyes wide with curiosity and amazement. In his hands, he held a rock, an ordinary one. No sparkles, no shine, just a dull gray stone. But with a mischievous glint in his eyes, Scruffy tossed the stone into the creek. It created ripples that danced across the water surface, each circle growing larger and larger until they disappeared. This simple, seemingly mundane act sparked something new. The townsfolk began to throw stones into the creek, each one creating its own set of ripples. Laughter filled the air, echoing off the hills, and a new pointless tradition was born. Whistle stood by, a content smile playing on their lips. Whistling a soft tune, they watched as the dull rocks created beautiful ripples, proving once again that even the most ordinary things could bring unexpected joy. The story of Whistle's town became a legend. People spoke about the town that found unity in a pointless rock collection, a town that laughed together at the ripples in a creek. It was a silly tale, but it was also a reminder of the simple joys of life. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and the once small town was now a beacon of joy and unity. The sparkle from Whistle's collection could be seen from miles away, and the laughter echoed far beyond the hills, carried by the wind. One day, as the sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Whistle stood by the creek, their tune carried by the gentle breeze. They watched as the townsfolk laughed and created ripples in the creek, their hearts filled with contentment. What had started as a simple, pointless act had transformed their town, brought them closer, and gave them shared moments of joy and laughter. The story is indeed about nothing. There are no grand adventures, no epic battles, just a story about a person who whistles, a collection of shiny rocks, and a town that found unity and happiness in the simplest of things. It's a story that's as pointless as it is heartwarming. In the months that followed, the tale of Whistle's town continued to charm everyone who heard it. Travelers from far and wide would visit the town, often bearing their own shiny rocks or ordinary stones to add to the growing collection by the creek. The energy around the place was infectious, filled with laughter, shared stories, and a sense of community that few places could boast of. Some evenings, Whistle would hold up one of the shiny rocks, letting the remaining sunlight bounce off of its surface, casting a rainbow of colors that danced around the place. Children would run around trying to catch the colored lights, their innocent laughter ringing through the town. Meanwhile, the pointless tradition of throwing the ordinary stones into the creek continued. The splashes and the concentric ripples they created became a shared language of joy among the townsfolk. The simplicity of it all was the magic that bound them together. Scruffy, the stranger with the unkempt hair and beard, had become a regular sight at the creek. With his infectious enthusiasm, he would often lead the stone-throwing ritual, his loud laugh adding to the symphony of joy that now defined this town. The seasons changed, painting the landscape in different colors. The warmth of the summer gave way to the crisp coolness of autumn. The trees around the creek shed their leaves, creating a colorful carpet on the ground. The town's sparkly rock collection looked even more magical under the soft autumn sunlight. On some days, the townsfolk would gather around the creek, building small fires from the fallen leaves. They would sit around the fire, sharing stories and singing songs, while the children took turns throwing stones into the creek. The crackling fire, the shared warmth, and the shared laughter made these days some of the most memorable for Whistle's town. Even as the temperatures dipped and the winter approached, the sense of unity in the town remained unshaken. The gatherings by the creek became less frequent, but the joy remained. The shiny rocks now sparkled in the pale winter sunlight, and the creek, although quieter, still welcomed the occasional stone and the ripples it brought. Through it all, whistles stood by, their soft tunes merging with the sounds of nature and the shared joy of the town. It was a testament to the fact that sometimes a story about absolutely nothing could be about so much more. It could be about community, shared joy, laughter, and the beautiful simplicity of life. And as long as the warmth existed, the story would continue.